Recording in progress.
I must protect society.
Hello, Moses.
How are you? Hope you're fine. It is the shiny show.
Okay, where you go?
Aloha.
Why have I got horns?
Oh no.
Oh, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
Oh, there's going to be some drama ahead.
All I wanted was a pie, and then I hatched out of an egg.
Okay, bring the mic over. He's ready to record.
Is it metaphorical? Is it deep?
Oh, your show's getting so international, Paul.
Boy, he's not all that shy, is right.
Such a wimp.
Blimey, Governor. It's the Shy Life Podcast.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Paul.
I don't know how he done it.
Excellent. 808. 808.
Bonjour et bienvenue au podcast The Shy Life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Shy Life Podcast with me, Paul the Shy Yeti. How you doing? I'm alright. So, what's this episode going to be about? Well, it's another poetry episode. This time for a collection called Poetiquette. I remember being quite proud of that title at the time. I'm sure it's been used since, and maybe it had been used before, but I always used to Google my titles, and if there was, particularly with the short titles, there's always a good chance that maybe somebody else has used it. And to be honest, I'm surprised nobody else had used Poetiquette, but certainly as far as doing a Google search was concerned, nothing came up. So, or if it did, it wasn't the title of the collection. So yes, this time we'll be talking about Poetiquette, and I'll be reading some of my favourite pieces from it as it hits its 20th anniversary. Run that theme music.
Darling, it's the Shy Life Podcast.
My favorite person is here.
Keep it rolling.
Yes, but it's supposed to be singable. The High Life, the Shy Life.
I'll go anyway, let's say so.
Hello, captain. How are you?
Go Shy Yeti.
Oh my, have you ever found out my secret? Did you have?
I love the Yeti test. It's my favorite thing.
If you thought that was bad, just listen to this.
Yeah, I'm strangely drawn to Yeti Uncle John's ankles as well.
I could eat my body weight in crisps.
Has anyone seen my hot sausage?
It's all gooey and meaty and yum.
Oh my goodness. It was enormous.
I don't think that's what I should speak about it.
Here comes the grizzly.
It's the Shy Life Podcast.
I can't wait for it to begin.
That's right, I'm just being an alien.
I like that.
Hi there.
Marvelous, Paul.
Talking back, no, nothing about anything.
Okay, we are recording.
So yes, Poetiquette. Actually, it was the last of my not my self-published, but the last of my handmade collections, where the early versions were photocopied on my dad's photocopier and bound on an old binding machine. I had to go and buy the binders from a stationer. But there was an old spiral binding machine that had actually been thrown in the bin at work, like in the skip, because they bought a new one. I think there was something wrong with it. One of the hole punching bits didn't completely do its job. But I think once I saved it from the skip and took it down to the library store, I realised that that was actually correctable. I managed to sort of repair it enough to get it working back to normal. I was told that I couldn't take it home because it was government property, even though it had been thrown in the skip, but keeping it in the library store was absolutely fine. So I think the only thing it meant is that I had to take all of my copies that I'd photocopied in Salisbury, all the way from Salisbury to my house, and then all the way from my house to work, and then back to my house, and then distribute them or post them to people who wanted them. Anyway, this was the last of those, because very soon after I discovered Lulu, and my next collection in 2006 was the first collection that I designed knowing it was going to be printed in such a way. And and I also went back and republished the first 8 collections in double volumes. So Poetiquette would have been with mugshots, the previous book. But I tried to sort of keep the covers as much the same as they had been on the handmade versions. The cover of Poetiquette uses a photo that actually my friend Kerry took. I think he was visiting Hastings. It was like a junk shop, and the cover is of 2 of those sort of lucky cats. I think they're Chinese, the ones with the arms that sort of swing forward. I don't really know what they're meant to do other than just be decorative. Anyway, I presume that Kerry sent me the photo, and I asked if I could use it. The 2 cats are in the forefront of the picture, and lurking in the background is a spotty dog. He might even be a moneybox. I'm not sure. I can't tell a lot from the photo, but the dog is looking over the shoulders of the 2 cats. It has nothing to do with Poetiquette, really. I just thought it was a good photo. There's also a little image. I don't know what you'd call it. It was a little bit of clip art, but it was, I can't even remember where I got it from. A website which had very old-fashioned, out-of-copyright images. I liked it, and I put it on the original, and so I transferred it. The cover says, a collection of verse by Paul Chandler, price £1. Of course, this version is the 2015 version, the 10th anniversary version. So it has a lot more, well, they're not contemporary photos. They're photos that were taken between 2005 and 2015. A lot from holidays and trips and just travelling about. They're really used just to sort of make the book a bit more interesting. Not that it's not interesting. It's just I liked putting the photos in the books, and I do find a lot of poetry books can be a bit boring to look at unless they've got illustrations, which I rarely encountered. So, I mean, this is, as I say, this is the 10th anniversary version. It's not as long as some of the later books that were written that we've talked about, which are like hundreds of pages long, because there's lots of behind-the-scenes stuff about the writing of the book or stuff about my gigs. These 10th anniversary books were, this one's 128 pages. So, yeah, this is a shorter volume, but still longer than the version that I put out originally, the hand-printed version. The back cover says, Poetiquette, first published in 2005, was Paul's 8th self-published collection and his 7th to include completely contemporary compositions. Even back then he was writing his daft yitty verse, but until now Poetiquette has only been available alongside its sister volume, Mugshots, also recently reissued. I mean, that's not completely true, because I didn't want to get into the hand-printed story. Too complicated. So yes, this is the first time that the book has stood alone. This 10th anniversary edition contains photos and facts about the book, and many of these poems Paul still performs today. These include Being Coy, Cake and Eat It, Hopeless Romantic, I Want Them to See Me, On Top of the Pops, Mr. B, Red Tape, Somewhere in Between, and Yeti's Fur. But there are many pieces here that he hasn't yet performed. So sit back and enjoy. So 1 or 2 of those titles I do recognise as being ones I performed, but I don't know if there are others in here. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about Poetiquette because I haven't revisited it that much in the last 10 years. This version, the The first hand-printed version came out in May 2005. I guess the compilation version with mugshots was a little bit later, but it doesn't say when that was. The 10th anniversary edition came out in November 2015. I probably pushed it later in the year because the reissued mugshots came out probably around the time that, well, really, that Poetiquette was celebrating its 20th anniversary. But as usual, I found a typo. Why are there always typos in these books, even though you look at them 100 times and get other people to read them? It's not an important typo. It's just in the list of recently available books. One of the books is Not As Shy As I Was, and rather than it saying Poems and Stories, Autumn 2013, it says You Poems. Where did the You come from? Ridiculous. You'd have thought that, as I did these books on Word, you'd have thought that that would have been an obvious one to pick up on. It would have been underlined with a red line to show that it was not a word, although I think sometimes when words are in capitals, it doesn't always do that, which is annoying. Anyway. What we'll do first is, well, I'll tell you about the books. I'll tell you about the poems in this book, then we'll perhaps skip to the end, and then we'll delve in and I'll read some of my favourite pieces. I'm still using the poem Basically, which is one of my earliest poems. Oh, I was going to say, yes, on the back cover there's a picture that my friend Ian took of me and Dealey when Dealey was only very little. Only very little, yes. Because 2004 was when he was born and he came to live with me in 2005. Also, there's a picture of him by that poem, Basically. It says, Kitten Dealey, my muse. My muse. I didn't even make that joke. That photo was taken April 2005. Oh, he's such a pretty baby. Anyway, the poems in this collection are as follows. I'm not sure how many there are, but you can count them as I read them. Always attach a kitten to your toast. Anthony's socks. Attention seeker. Awards like candy. Ballad of Susie and Angus. Beautiful people don't look down on me. Being coy. Brittany needs a cardie. Cake and eat it. Cat got your tongue. Coming down with something. Crime often pays. Dear Robert, dear Charles. Do you mind? The etiquette of affairs. Fat Michelle. Feels like the end days. Forever blubbing. Gay Chihuahua. Go digital. Growly Eric. Her off the telly. Him off TV. Hopeless romantic. I didn't fit in, but I do now. I didn't mean it. If diamonds are forever, I have a limited appeal. I have seen enough photos of your kids. I remind him of somebody else. I want a lover like Matilda. I want them to see me on Top of the Pops. Kirsty could really pick 'em. Kitten in a bow tie. Life in a jar. Look at me, not through me. The love ditty of Pauline and Graham. Matchmaking God. A merry band. Mr. B. Molly Coddled. My memory. The new chav. New kitten sidekick. The place where exes go. Playing grown up. Pre-op pup. Putting life on hold. Red tape. The rules of good-lookingness. Scared of the Queen. A second-rate Lothario. Shopping around. Some of my best friends are straight. Something to declare. Somewhere in between. Sonny and Cher of Eurovision. They never saw me go. Those dreams again. Troublemaker. Valentine's Day is cancelled. Valentine's soldiers. Wanna be a bear. What if they'd axed football? When the mighty fall. When the milkman calls. With another. Won't stay sweet forever. A Yeti's fur. You don't exist. You have your beliefs. There are some of those, one or two of those that I do remember without, the ones that I did continue to perform. Yes, I think I wrote another one about a bee. I hope that's not called Mr. B as well. There's definitely one about a bee who is like a giant balloon. Yeah, that's one of my later collections. But, oh well. If I have written two poems called Mr. B, so be it. So be it! Ah! Let's jump to the end of the book just to tell you sort of what the layout is. So the actual poems end around page 83, and then there's a list of the poems with the dates that they were written between pages 84 and 85. Now, yeah, they're mostly, because of Mugshots coming out, Mugshots, a lot of Mugshots poems were written in sort of, I don't know, mid to late 2004. Pretty much everything in this collection is written in early, like in the first 4 months of 2005. I hesitate to say that this collection was written in a hurry, but I certainly know that some of the poems were a little bit, like I think the one called Anthony's Socks, I think I remember Anthony saying, "Oh, I bet you'll write a poem about my socks next." And so I did. There's also the one about the love duty of Pauline and Graham. Pauline was a security guard, and Graham, I don't know if he was another security guard or whether he worked in another department, but somebody asked me to write a song. Maybe it was Graham asked me to write a song, or maybe it was Pauline. One of them asked me to write a song as a sort of, I want to give you this poem, because they wanted to get it on, as it were. I don't know if it worked. Wouldn't it be nice if it turned out that they were married now and had been for the last 20 years? All because of my poem? I don't think that's what happened. I don't think so. I don't actually know. Let's pretend. Let's pretend that's what happened. After that, from pages 86 onwards, yeah, there's stuff about each poem. And I wrote in 2015 an additional comment, like if it was a poem that I'd been performing live. I wrote about why I'd written the poem in 2005, but then also my thoughts 10 years on. And here I do mention about Anthony's socks. Yeah, when Anthony dared me to write a poem about his socks, and I sent it to him, Ant replied, "It's probably a bit too silly to include in your next collection, but it certainly raised a smile." But yeah, I did include it. And I'm glad I did, because very sadly, and I've mentioned this before, Anthony passed away in November 2024. So it's nice to have these memories and, you know, these little things that kind of spark off memories. But there's one here called The Ballad of Susie and Angus. Now, Susie and Angus were my friend Tom's two cats. But and I think when I came back to it in 2015, I even tweaked it. It was one of many cat poems that I wrote. Probably my favourite being Becoming More Cat-Like, which I wrote in 2010. Yeah, Being Coy was definitely one that I performed a lot. And in the additional section of that poem, as I said before, I list all the times I performed it at the Poetry Cafe, the Shy Yeti on Location episodes I made where I read Being Coy. It's nice. It's nice to have those dates recorded. Brittany Needs a Cardi, for instance. That was written about sort of seeing pop stars in skimpy clothes, always the women, of course, and sort of feeling quite protective and feeling that maybe they'd feel more comfortable in a nice pair of trousers and a cardigan. But I'm sure that's very, that borders on being patronising, although you do wonder if sometimes, depending on how famous the star is, how much say they have on their costumes. But I guess people like Lady Gaga, Madonna and Kylie and people like that, they certainly do have a say on their look. And I suspect that Gaga did from very early on. I mean, no one's going to force you to wear a meat dress if you don't want to wear a meat dress, surely. But then, I don't know, there's a lot going on, and a lot that could be said about that poem. And I think that poem was just a moment where I wanted to address sort of how much, well, as we know, Britney didn't always get to do what she wanted to do, or say what she wanted to say, or wear what she wanted to wear, or have that much freedom at all. So I think even in 2005, people were a bit aware of that, and that's what I kind of was thinking about when I wrote that one. But anyway, I write about that sort of thing in the fact file, the reasons I wrote them. But yeah, I won't go through each one, obviously, but there are poems and there are stories behind a lot of poems. There's a poem called Growly Eric. Eric was a real person, a friend of mine, but he knew that I was going through a bad patch with the person I was dating, and kind of also, I believe, I can in my head he was on his stag do, but I don't know what happened to that, because I don't remember if he ever got married. I don't think he is anymore, but, you lose touch with people. But I definitely got an invite to, I think he wanted to have one last night before, he was over in London on his own. And anyway, I was invited back, and I was definitely very tempted, because things weren't going well for me. But I said no. But I turned the incident into a poem, where I think in the fact files I say I was inspired by the song Dr. Robert by the Beatles, which is about a doctor who has all the cures for everything, and Growly Eric also had the cures for everything, at least in the poem he did. But yeah, I don't think I'd remember half these things if I hadn't written these things down. The poem here, I Want a Lover Like Matilda, the character Matilda comes from the film A Very Long Engagement, where Matilda, played by the wonderful Audrey Tautou, she's told her lover is dead after a war, but she instinctively knows he's not, and she keeps on searching, which I remember when I watched that film, it just made me think, wow, that's a strong love, and it's sort of inspiring. It's quite a long film. I haven't watched it since, it's weird. I'm a big fan of Audrey's, but it's one of the few films of hers I haven't rewatched that often. There's a poem about Top of the Pops, but this was about the year before Top of the Pops was axed. I think I wrote another Top of the Pops poem when Top of the Pops finished. But there's one or two poems, If Diamonds Are Forever, which is quite a slightly different style to some of the other poems I've done, and it's quite short, but I quite like it. Of course, there are a few prose pieces in here too, and one or two that I probably won't be reading because they feel a bit clunky now. But yeah, I was thinking how they say that a lot of the younger actors on Neighbours, and all soap operas really, but particularly Australian soaps, kind of, because there isn't the same training ground of or as many TV shows, or as many much opportunity to do stage work, and soap operas are often used as the sort of training ground for young actors. And as they go on, they improve, and by the time they leave, sometimes they're absolutely the best members of the cast, or up there with the best members of the cast. And I feel like that now a bit about some of my books, that my quality control was 75% there maybe, but there was always a few that escaped through that maybe I wouldn't have put in if I was putting the book together now. But I think I felt, because I'd written the poem, it deserved to exist and go out there, because you never know who is going to be a fan of a particular poem. Sometimes people have said, oh, I love that poem that you wrote, and it's not one that I think is one of my best. But I like to think that it's a Paul thing. It's something about Paul's and writing. I've heard, and it may be unfair, although I'm not sure, perhaps this comment is fair, that after the Beatles, Paul McCartney was so prolific, but some of his albums maybe have one or two filler tracks that aren't up there with his greatest work, and he didn't have somebody saying, and after the Beatles, it's kind of understandable, nobody maybe wanted to tell him that one isn't quite as good as the other tracks on the album. And Yeah, after you've written something, it can feel, well, for me, it can feel quite difficult to sort of kind of go, that's no good, goodbye, because I'd be thinking, well, what about that poor poem, the one that didn't get selected? I mean, I try and work on it until it was as good as it could be, but yeah, I didn't like leaving unfinished poems out of books, and maybe that's what happened with Paul McCartney as well. Not that I'm saying I'm of the level of Paul McCartney, but he is one of my inspirations, and I am a big fan of the Beatles, and probably Paul McCartney is responsible for most of my favourite Beatles songs, although they're all good, of course. So yes, there is of course a poem involving a Yeti, or mentioning a Yeti in this collection, but that almost goes without saying. The final pages of the book, there's a poster from the show that I did for Poetiquette. A poster for the show I did for the 10th anniversary of Poetiquette, which came out around the time that I released this book. The gig was on Thursday the 29th of October 2015 at the Poetry Cafe, and I presume that John Smallshaw was also involved, but it doesn't mention that, so I do think there was one show maybe he couldn't make, so maybe that was the one. There's a dedication at the back of the book, thanking Ian for taking the picture of Dealey, and Kerry for taking the front cover, and Carlos, who also gave me Dealey, thanking him for the Viking hat that he gave me, which I wear in one photo. I also thank Anthony Allen, and Dan Hodges, who, well, Dan I used to send most of my finished poems to, and he probably sort of technically proofread a lot of the book, but I'm not sure if he proofread the poems, just the poems, and so any mistakes, like the one I mentioned earlier, that wasn't in the, which wasn't a poem, that's all my fault. But yeah, there's also something here called the rules of Poetiquette, which I might read you at the very end. Yeah, apparently the very first time this book was published was the 23rd of May 2005. There's also an extra poem that I wrote in 2015 that I published on my blog. It was called Lovers Don't Live Longer. I probably shouldn't read it because it probably ended up in one of my other collections. The title is definitely inspired by an ABBA song called Lovers Live a Little Longer, and this disagrees with it. There's also a reproduction of a blog entry I made on Wednesday, March the 25th, 2015. I used to often do sort of interviews, like my blog was interviewing me about what I was up to creatively. When I was doing this 10th anniversary edition of the book, it was about a year before I started the podcast, and when I did the show and the book eventually came out in November 2015, it was about 6 months before the podcast started. But anyway, I used to enjoy interviewing myself. It was a way of sort of be able to chat about books that I was working on, and I was doing sort of Mass of Commons books and script books like Hot Stuff and Kensington Gore and The Beast of Friends around that time. That's pretty much it, except there's a list of my blog sites. I was using Vimeo for videos then, as well as YouTube. I mean, this is by the time I was doing the 10th anniversary edition. YouTube didn't exist when the book originally came out. There's a little biog. There's a list of my books. And my next collection is mentioned, A Yeti Way of Thinking. And I think at one point I hoped that was going to come out in 2015, because I wrote a lot of the contents between autumn 2012 and summer 2014, but that one just seemed to take ages to proofread, and I guess I was also juggling the reissues as well. The image of the back cover Says the book was due out in 2015, but I think in the end it didn't make it out to 2016. Anyway, I think it's time I read some of the poems in this book. Where shall we start? Always attach a kitten to your toast is just pure nonsense. I'll read it you, but it is pure nonsense. Always attach a kitten to your toast. Won't you heed my words of wisdom, for my research is now complete. Yes, should a kitten come a cropper, he'll always land upon his feet. If you place a buttered slice there, nice and firm upon his back, now should you drop your piece of toast, you'll never lose your favourite snack. It will not lie flat in the dust, it will not fall upon its side, but stay composed upon your paws, whom with the floor will then collide. Yes, both the kitten and the toast, I'm glad to say, surely survives. No worse to wear for their descent, and still retaining all 9 lives. But should the power formed be equal, you may see your kitten spin from the 2 opposing forces, so best just spread your butter thin. But should the force that comes or stronger be the one from off the toast, you'll still find your breakfast facing down, despite my former happy boast. As for your cat, flat on his back, legs kicking foolish in the air, bread wasted there upon the tile, now breakfast ruined, so unfair. Okay, so best not attach a kitten to your toast. You would have thought it made good sense, but you don't want your kitten broke. For when it comes to cats and buttered toast, alas, the law of gravity is a joke. That was quite hard to read because it was so nonsensical. I also wrote a poem about kitten tennis. I mean, that's even weirder. I don't know. Attaching kittens to toast or toast to kittens is also pretty weird. I'm pretty weird. Never mind. I should read you Anthony Socks just because this was done for a dare. Anthony Socks. Anthony Socks have a life of their own. Anthony Socks never speak should you phone. Yes, they smell really sweet like a ripe bowl of fruit. They have travelled afar, swum from Bath to Beirut. Anthony Socks are quite hard to insult. Anthony Socks are considered a cult. They are terribly hot, breaking out in a sweat. You might think they're polite, but they often forget. Anthony Socks, a law unto themselves. Anthony Socks were once modelled by elves. They were trained boogaloo and they're rampantly fizzy. Seems they've sprouted new legs, so relentlessly busy. Anthony Socks both support the pink pound. Anthony Socks now declared quite unsound. Some may say they are chavs when they're really quite posh. I'd say Anthony Socks need a jolly good wash. That's very silly. It's nice though. I like it. Attention seeker. Got your hair really big, got your hair really wild. Sleep with girls, boys or both, there's no rush to decide. Got a pin through your nose, which is looking quite sore. The one you've got in your tit, got it caught in the door. Got your shirt flying loose, got your jeans widely flared. You may think that you're cool, but you make us all scared. Got your makeup on right, got your shoes really high. You're overdosing on life, never needed to try. Got your pants on your head, got your socks on your cock. I'm maybe missing the point. Why are you trying to shock? With your wandering eye and your gift of the gab, you look greasy and cheap. Still, you think you look fab. Got your nails bitten short with your goatee grown long. With your libido to guide and your aftershave strong. Got your chat-up lines primed with your teeth bleached up white. You are raring to go, got it all planned tonight. Well, you popped all your pills and you put the cat out. Then you locked all your doors and you screeched off like a lout. It's how you hoped to show off. To stand out was your aim. Oh, but how were you to know at that club they would all dress the same?
this week, and you know it. Yeah, you know that it's true. You're just so done crazy. You belong in a zoo. You're a nut, you're a schizo. You should take my advice. Come sit here right next to me, 'cause you're loopy but nice. Can't you see that nobody likes you but me? Everyone else thinks you're out of your tree. You go with everyone. We're not the spit you like. Yeah, I sit alone. Nobody likes you but me. I tell you that nobody likes you but me. Oh yeah, everyone I will be sad. You got issues to find. You have a weird way with words. You've no favorable trait. No, I'm never on time. Always 2 hours late. Getting worse every year. You are way up the map. I just can't get enough. How I'd love you on top. You're unkind to your mom. Yes, you cheat and you lie. Don't let anyone close. What about if I try? Can't you see that nobody likes you but me? Everyone else thinks you're out of your tree. You go with a real look. When I first met you, I should still know. Nobody likes you but me. I told her nobody likes you but me. Everyone I would think does agree. You got issues I find, always lagging behind. But no one cares. Can't you see that nobody likes you but me? Everyone else thinks you're out of your tree. You go with a real look. When I first met you, I should still know. Nobody likes you but me. I told her nobody likes you but me. Everyone I would think does agree. You got issues I find, always lagging behind. But no one cares.
This one's called Awards Like Candy. It seems to me that they almost give away awards these days. That they hand them out like they're giving away free candy taped to a magazine. They find reasons to bestow glories on the most mediocre of targets, singling out those of quite an average level of achievement, just to keep them happy, and their mothers, their wives and pets and postmen, just to make sure that their next album, that next book, that next exhibition or painting is just that little more prestigious. Good moods breed a more creative spirit, some say. Flattery allows for all kinds of indulgent freedom of thought. These days they give away awards like cheap bangles, like junk mail. Congratulation is heaped on the sort of crap that most people scrape off their shoes. Every accolade, every applause renders any true achievement meaningless. Every moderate success seems to become an immediate classic. What happened to waiting and seeing and letting time declare the worth of things? What's the value when every third-rate pop star suddenly becomes award-winning? Like those awards are actually worth something. These days it is hard to tell the exceptional from the simply okay. Still, I probably said too much. I should save some of this. You can read all about what I think in my new autobiography. I'm not yet 21, but boy do I have a lot to say. This one's called Beautiful People Don't Look Down on Me. Beautiful people don't look down on me. Why do you think yourself so great? What makes you feel superior when in fact you look a state? You're not as pretty as a picture, just sort of glamorous but plain. My own looks are more distinctive, and without surgery did obtain. Yes, you may be good at pouting, you may throw the campus pose, but there's no need to be so snooty to rudely turn up your nose. 'Cause now your looks are clearly fading, you're so alarmed to see them go. You probably wish you'd never had them, but you always knew this would be so. Beautiful people, I do look down on them. I'm sorry, is that wrong? But their cheekbones are dead scary, and their legs are way too long. They have that scary way of smiling, Botox twisted in a sneer. You cannot hear a word they're saying with their head stuck up their rear. Hey, I don't want to sound way bitchy. Oh no, that's gonna have to wait. Don't want to slag them off completely. Oops, that may already be too late. Once they've eaten, stick it up into a handy plastic bag. Can't you smell the stench of fake tan? Oh, it's enough to make you gag. Us people, we are beautiful in our unique and special way. We shouldn't look down on those models just 'cause they've not got much to say. Once their millions are squandered, they'll be peasants just like us. Gorgeous people with such big heads they'll not fit upon a bus. Please, there's no need to get all bitter or group together into mobs. Once they're old and they are ugly, they must then get proper jobs. So please don't giggle as they struggle and come to terms with their new craft in jobs that don't involve a catwalk, just perhaps some actual graft. Ooh, what a cat. Actually, I usually maintain that I hate it when people say, oh, she's a talentless singer, she's a talentless actor, or whatever, because it's a lot of work even if you're bad at what you do, or even if you're just average at what you do. You know, when you think about certain TV shows that are on at the moment that aren't as well regarded as they used to be, but then you see the documentaries about the making of those shows, I think, well, all these people work really hard, even if you don't like it. They really tried hard, and there were elements of it, the sets or the costumes, or there were elements of it that are amazing, even if the scripts aren't as good. And maybe those people who make those costumes or make those sets will end up working on some other project because people have seen their work and think, well, that was great. Whether the script is good doesn't reflect on the costume or the set or the sound effects or whatever. Anyway, I'll shut up and get on with reading. This one's called Being Coy. I'm quite flirtatious but also coy, unsure which tactics to employ. If I seem distracted, don't take offence. It's just my way, a quick defence. But I'm really swooning, coy as can be. A proper bunny rabbit, me. I'm being pleasant, so very coy. To see you is some kind of joy. I'm way too demented, quite off my head, blushing 7 shades of red. But I'm really sweating, coy as can be, full of tiny butterflies. Who? It's me. I'm being bashful, just being coy. I'm worried that I might annoy. I'm feeling nervous. Are you free? I'd like to cause excess of glee, but I'm really shaking, coy as can be. A shy yeti for your love, that's me. I'm looking sheepish, more often coy. I really love to be your toy, but you are you, and I'm struck dumb. Though could you call, I'll surely come. Though really scared, coy as you see, your purry kitty, do please be free. This one's called Cake and Eat It. I want my cake and eat it. Well, that's surely what it's for. Don't want to sit and stare at it. No, what I want to do is gnaw. What's the point of simply hoarding it or in doing what I'm told? Where's the sense in merely leaving it until it's nothing more than mould? I might have my cake and share it, kick those shoes off for a chat. Cosy up there with a Battenberg, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. But then if I make to share it, wouldn't it vanish in a trice? You lot would surely gobble it. No, never leave a single slice. I might have my cake and freeze it, keep it safe another day. Catch it now and quickly chill it, yes, save it fresh without delay. Stick a lock upon my freezer before I'm readying to leave. Couldn't trust not even one of you, my poor cake, you'd likely thieve. Yes, I shall make my cake and bake it. True, and I'll keep it all to me, and stuff my face to bursting, washing down with pints of tea. Yes, I'll have my cake and eat it. Don't try a trick, oh, just stay stum. Now I shall not hide nor share it. This one is mine, yes, every crumb. This one's called Cat Got Your Tongue. Seems the cat got his tongue, got his wallet, his keys. Yes, has eaten his dinner and given him fleas. Got his watch and his car and his villa in Crete. His record collection and ancestral seat. His family fortune, his cream of the crop. Ah, the cat's got his tongue, now he's not going to stop. Did the cat get your tongue? I assume must be true, leaving merely a stalk, where from once that it grew. Does he object to your voice or to freedom of speech? Has he stored it away? Is it quite out of reach? Might it grow back again once the wounding has healed? Will you find it once more if you keep your eyes peeled? Seems the cat's got her tongue and he's stolen her look. Now he's wearing her shoes, took her little black book. Got her gift of the gab, got her way with the men, with Morris and Simon and Tarquin and Glenn. Got her bacon and eggs, got her soup of the day. Oh, the cat's got her tongue and that's the way it will stay. What does the cat have to say then for all that he's done? Got away with a lot, spends his time in the sun. Remains silent, unspeaking, has he come over shy? Is he making amends? You might think he would try. He is mute, kind of bashful. Is he being polite? No, someone's stolen his tongue, stupid cat. Serves him right. That's a weird one. I used to like to take phrases like, cat, has the cat got your tongue, and then turn it into a sort of a poem that, sort of takes it literally. The next one's called Coming Down with Something, and I think it's, again, a phrase, always coming down with something, and I think that's along the similar lines to the previous one, so we will probably skip that one. This one's called Crime Often Pays. Crime often pays is a phrase, I believe. As a means to an end, you've a right to deceive. Yes, a right to a living, so take all that you need. Just go show those who doubt that you're born to succeed. Does a polo neck suit you, something dapper and dark? Try the life of a cat burglar, you can make quite a mark. Mr. Raffles was first, now the finger points right at you. There is much left to steal, you've a lot still to do. Be a felon, a sneak thief, quick, amassing a hoard, making sure you enjoy it, for we'd hate if you're bored. Tippy-toed on the rooftop, with your swag bag to hand, with your getaway car and escape routes all planned. Ah, yes, crime often pays, sure, despite all that's taught. It's all there for the take, and now don't you get caught. Remember, prison's for losers, for the third rate of brain. If you must do your time, then get out there again. Your own crime of the century, now this better be good. Make your own headline news, yes, you know that you could. But if you don't do it well, then no one else gives a fig. Yes, because crime only pays once you're making it big. Don't take that as an endorsement of crime. There's enough of that about at the moment as it is, mostly in politics. This one's called Do You Mind? Do you mind? I'm a big fan of your work. But I have just one thing to say. There's one area that bothers me, that just doesn't work for me. It's the bit where you're singing that song for your girlfriend or mistress, for your lover. It's just that I'm not at all convinced in Kathy, nor swayed by Susie. We all know who you love. So now, would you mind, next time I hear you singing songs to Sophie or Sarah, I will put my hands over my ears and shout, my name! Me, 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 because we both know it's me you want, that these songs are all about you and I. So can we be open and honest from now on? Finally, you don't mind? This one's called Feels Like the End Days. It feels like the end days. There's no more laughter over foolish ephemera. Once light-hearted teasing now cuts like barbed wire. No more whispered sweet nothings. Were there ever such kindnesses? I almost forget now. No secret sideways glances, gone those knowing looks, a noted lack of endearment, no terms of affection or jokey nicknames. Am I no longer yours? Our friends still chew a wasp, but we no longer laugh about it, staying in now, even on summer afternoons, in separate rooms. No more counting the hours, no more holding hands on the train, no more walking your dog, no more laughing with your flatmates, no more mother's scrumptious Sunday lunches. Why is it that we end up missing these things most of all? Go digital. There is no fun to be had in collecting, in hoarding old vinyl or CDs. No joy in carefully poring over battered sleeve notes. No point in casting an expert eye to a track list. What benefit admiring the faded cover art or hearing the crackle of needle on vinyl as it skips over a speck of dust? Download it, reduce it, go digital. There is no fun to be had in a good book, in maintaining cherished volumes for future generations who won't even care. So dirty, the musty smell of the parchment and the ink. The rough feel of the binding leads only to paper cuts and damaged hands. What point in lining them all up on some forgotten shelf? What waste of space when they can be read off the screen? The library is unnecessary and obsolete. Download it, just scan it, go digital. There is no fun in eating a well-prepared meal. Why would anyone choose to squander time slaving over a stove? What enjoyment can be gained from it, when all the vitamins you need are in pills? Why go to all the effort of all this inconvenience? To chew dead meat and plants eaten by bugs, to drink overpriced wine, only to shit and piss it back out again at some later date? Download it, just skip it, go digital. There is no fun in travel, in boarding a plane, in seeing the world to kill time. What purpose in experiencing the discomfort of such a long journey? But it's all there online on the big screen. What purpose in risking blisters, food poisoning or muggings, just to say you've seen this or done that? One photo is very much like another. Download it, enlarge it, go digital. There is no fun in new technology. It moves far too fast for us fools to keep up with. There is always something new or different out there to spend money on. Only the rich keep up, but do they really know how best to use their wealth? Companies want us to keep buying and rebuying things we already own. Our record and film collections, digitised, remastered, somehow improved. Well, that's bollocks. Just forget it. Ignore it. Fuck digital. The physical media versus digital media situation still rages on. I can guarantee that probably most of the contributors to the Shy Life podcast still clutch their physical media closely to their bosoms. This is called Hopeless Romantic. I'm a hopeless romantic, say of me what you will. I get myself all loved up, then move in for the kill. But then I trip on the step or maybe fall on my face. Makes me late for my date and they're gone without trace. I'm a hopeless romantic, see my motives are sound, but my best good intentions are then dashed to the ground. Should I set out to wow, should I plot an affair, my failed plans are all met by a very hard stare. I'm a hopeless romantic, no I can't get it right. If I try to seduce, always choose the wrong night. When you're watching TV or you're baking a cake, I'm always ready for love, then your head starts to ache. I'm a hopeless romantic, it is hard to ignore, but I try really hard, I don't find it a chore. No, I thrill at the game, buy a floral bouquet, then present them, yet flounder with nothing to say. I'm a hopeless romantic, there is no going back. I have all the worst traits, there is just something I lack. If I gave up on romance, do you think you would cope? Never a hopeless romantic, just a romantic with less hope. This one's called If Diamonds Are Forever, Then Why Did My Diamond Lover Leave? He was made from diamonds, he was made to last, from the rarest gemstones, and yet now his time has passed. He should have been the one made to treat me right, meant to be dead precious, so why's he gone tonight? He was supposed to be a stayer, be my very bestest friend, meant to be with me forever until the very, very end. Then why, and can you answer, does it seem that's not to be? Could it be that he was flawed, perhaps? Well, it seems that way to me. Yes, he was meant to be my darling, and yet he is no longer here. Yes, they made him out of diamonds, but 'twas a foolish plan, I fear. But why does no one know the answer? Why cannot anyone perceive? Why, if diamonds are forever, did my diamond lover up and leave? This one's called I've Seen Enough Photos of Your Kids. Little babies in booties, kiddies covered in dirt, held together with plasters, clasping knees slightly hurt. Tiny toddlers in pushchairs, sat all covered in drool. Pop them into the washer even though this is cruel. I've seen enough photos of your kids. Now it's my turn. That's me dressed as Hamlet. Yes, that's me on the stage. The makeup artist was kind and I look half my age. Here's me sick on the dipper. Here is me and my cat, doing handstands and cartwheels. Can your baby do that? Here is me in Bermuda, in no more than my shorts. Though you'd better not see it, you'll just get wicked thoughts. There I'm dyeing the sideburns of poor old Harry the Grey. Here's my dog dressed as Santa with me on his sleigh. Hey, that's me on the dance floor and I'm strutting my stuff. I'm a well funky yeti and I'm covered in fluff. There's you and there's me, we've got darn awful hair. There's your uncle caught kissing the Swedish au pair. Here's my mum and her lover, the Archbishop of Kent. The paparazzi took that one, trudged wherever they went. Here's my father who left us, now he lives by the sword. Yes, he claimed he was kidnapped by aliens abroad. There's me and a bear and we're covered in snow. The pollution is bad and we're starting to glow. Here's me in big shoes and I'm dressed like a nun, athletically posed with my beard neatly spun. Here is me in a cannon, shooting through flaming hoops. Here is me in the army, see me flirt with the troops. There I am out in space, floating up with the stars, half asleep at my desk, doing striptease in bars. I have seen enough photos of your life. Now it's my turn. Little babies in knitwear, here he is in his cot. They all look just the same when they're perched on the pot. Yes, I've seen enough shots of your kids, wife and car. Who, me? I'm not jealous. Your life's just way too bizarre. This one's called I Remind Him of Somebody Else. I remind him of somebody else. A look, a laugh, same eye colour. There's something that does it. He doesn't mention it, but I've seen photos, heard stories from other friends. Yes, I remind him of somebody else, who he can't have any more for one reason or another. Someone he gave away who is long gone. Someone he can't bear to spend time with now, but yet still loves. I taught myself that he's with me because I'm a reminder of better times. No matter what we do, is he still thinking of this someone else, even if he doesn't actually acknowledge the fact? Ultimately then, I'm second-hand news, a runner-up. Can I ever be what he wants if I remind him of somebody else? Will he ever learn to love me for just being me? This one's called I Want Them to See Me on Top of the Pops. No, they never thought I'd do it. They considered me a waste. Ah, yes, they all dismissed my talent, but they did so now in haste. Now they feel stupid that they dissed me. Now they want to make amends. Yes, they want to tell their neighbours that we're really good friends. Now they say they really miss me while they're talking total tripe. No, they don't even like my music. No, they've just fallen for the hype. Still, I want them to see me. I want them to know that I'm high in the charts on their telly. Hello! I want them to stare at me, see my face on the sleeve. I want them to gape at me, yeah, till they really believe. They thought I was nothing, one of life's funny flops. So now I want them to see me on top of the pops. No, they didn't think I'd make it, laughed at me until we're hoarse. Yes, they thought that shelf stacking was my only tour de force. How they never thought I'd do it up there with the starry few. The only line-up I was fit for was the unemployment queue. They took bets that I would lose it, be the first to flounder, drown. But now my face is on a billboard and it's all over town. Well, I want them to see me. Yes, I want them to sigh. I may well be polite, nod my head and say, hi. I want them to notice me there on Parkinson's lap. They're dressed only in tinsel, my usual slap. Yes, they thought I was nothing, one of life's foolish fops. Come on, let them see me there on top of the pops. Oh, they love to claim we made it, and say their help was quite a plus, that we only made the big time because of all they did for us. What about when things were crappy and we were sliding with despair? When we couldn't sell a ticket, guess what? They weren't there. No, they only want to know us now our luck has changed for good. They expect us to be welcoming like there was hope we ever would. How I love when they see me, yes, it's true, I confess. No, they wish they were me, simmer jealously, bless. I want them to dress like me, whilst adoration grows strong. I want them to see me before it starts to go wrong. Want them to know I was something before everything stops. Be quite sure they've all seen me on top of the pops. Oh yes, I want them to see me on top of the pops. I really want them to see me on top of the pops. But what if they're shocked and each foolish heart stops? Can't say that I care as long as they see me on top of the pops. On Saturday the 29th of July 2006, a year or so after Poetiquette was published, I posted this on my blog in commiseration of the fact that Top of the Pops was having its last regular show. Or Top of the Pops. This one's called Kitten in a Bow Tie. Kitten into chaos, in gay abandon on the floor. Kitten living through its 9 lives, already used up 3 or 4. Kitten in a stew pot. Over here, no, over there. Sometimes up to mischief, he is seldom knelt in prayer. Kitten in a bin bag and along the curtain rail. Kitten chewing on your knickers in a wedding dress and veil. Little kitty in an armchair, comfy slippers and a pipe. He will need to get a job soon, maybe teach that cat to type. He's a kitten in a dither, its hair like sandy shore. He should get himself a hobby, stop him fighting tooth and claw. Kitty in a dinner jacket, fancy cufflinks and bow tie. Kitten needs to learn some manners, not dip his paws into the pie. He'd look good in something tidy, for this kitten is a scruff. Yes, much better in a waistcoat, maybe round his neck a ruff. No more chaos, madly pouncing, no more running, he must walk, sitting quiet in a high chair with his plastic knife and fork. No, he will only mew when asked to, now addresses me as sir. No more Play-Doh in the carpet, on your clothes or on his fur. Yeah, right, like that will ever happen. Ah, give my hope a little boost. Oh, I may well dream, yet know the truth is, that little kitten rules the roost. Dealey was pretty new when this book came out. The photos in the 10th anniversary edition are from how he looked in 2015, or 2014, I suppose. This one's a bit of a dark one. It's called Life in a Jar. They kept him in a jar, attractive to look at, easy to maintain, just throwing in a bit of food from time to time. He was only small then and fitted easily inside. We wouldn't want him getting any bigger, they both said. He's better off small, bonsai-sized. Day by day they returned to take photos and to smile. He watched back, kicking his heels in boredom, eating every morsel of food that he was given. He chewed at his toys, even at his clothes. Something was wrong. Despite his limited diet, inside the jar he was beginning to grow. They hadn't planned on that happening at all. But he was growing, and nothing, it seemed, could stop him from doing so. Already he was too large to exit through the top of the bottle. His strained expression bored them. He's not as cute as he was, they both said. Why does he have to change like this? It spoils things. His face billowed up behind the glass, as if he was listening, but now there was no doubt that he was getting bigger each day. His fingers tapped urgently on the glass, his nose squashed up. Could it be that he did understand? His eyes cried out for them, for his little voice had become hoarse. They discussed whether to put back the stopper, but there was no room at all to do so, for now the top of his head proved the perfect cork. They watched, knowing the time was near. Either the glass will break or he will suffocate, they said, and waited. His grinning face seemed transfixed by the sight of theirs. It seemed that he knew the score. Oh yes, he knew. The glass did not break. One relieved sigh in unison, for it was over. It's all for the best, they both said. They're so much cuter when they're small, aren't they? They both agreed. He would forever remain that way. So now they were happy. I don't know what made me write that, but I do like it. It's horrible. Yeah. I don't know if it's a metaphor for something. I'm sure you could work a metaphor in there, but no, it's probably one of the most horrible things I ever wrote. There we go. The next one's called Mr. B. Mr. B, you're really fat. How did you get to be like that? How did you get to be that size? Consumed too many tasty pies. Too many fancy party cakes. And wise for breakfast, strawberry shakes. Your buzz is weak, a lonely hum. Oh, B can't bear, you seem so glum. You're shaking like beef-flavoured jelly, rolling on your furry belly. Nod sadly at the blossomed trees, the birds and flowers, other bees. You see the pollen looking good, you'd love to taste it if only could. You'd kill to savour every drop, but Mr. B, you know you'd pop. Alas, to sniff no more may do. Lettuce only from now on, for you. Yes, Mr. B, you sit inside, too fat would seem to ever fly. Upon the petals no more can prance. Alas, no more do you get the chance. Oh, B, it seems life's getting tougher. But what good to see you sad, to suffer? If had my way, if in my power, I'd lift you up onto the flower. But I guess you'd weigh the poor thing flat. So here you'll stay unhappy sat. Alas, sweet things shall always hold your gaze. Oh, Mr. B can't change your ways. You'll simply have to spend your money, destined to die dining on supermarket honey. This is called New Kitty Sidekick. I've got a new kitty sidekick, a kitten full of purr. Took a while to work out properly whether 'twas a him or her. Could he be a kitten angel? Seems he's quite immune to lice. He does these picture postcard poses, keeps his whiskers really nice. See him hanging from the curtains while a kitten's got to climb. Could I maybe teach him housework, 'cause he's surely got the time. He's so choosy with his dinners, now he's off his mother's teats. Only seems to like the high life, expensive caviar for treats. He could become a catnip addict, you'll come a cropper to his paws. He may grow up to be a tiger, 'cause he doesn't mew, he roars. I've got a new kitty sidekick, a tiny kitten full of perk. Round my feet he likes to wander, on my shoulder there does lurk. Really fussy with his collar, doesn't care quite what I think. He no longer wears the ermine, now only trolls around in mink. Yes, he's my lovable puss playmate. Seems I've forgotten all my friends. But it's the way my kitten likes it, now my social life soon ends. From the expressions that he gives me, spelt out clearly, plain advice, a rabbit's head upon my pillow, or just a dozen rotten mice. Yes, this puts his point across now. It's just occurred to me how quick. It is I who's his companion. Yes, it is me, his new sidekick. Yes, I mean, Dealey never caught rabbits or mice because he was a house cat, so it's not all about Dealey, although he did climb the curtains. This one's called The Place Where Exes Go. Here's a question to consider, the kind of thing I'm keen to know. When your love so sadly parted, just where do these fellas go? Is there some world that's full of exes? Do they live a life of shame? Regret how horribly they treated you, sad and stewing, full of blame? Are they locked away in boxes in an attic oh so high? Maybe offer them a flatmate only psychos need apply. Do they put them in the kitchen, in a pie or in a pot? For all those times they weren't romantic, said they'd try but then forgot. Maybe leave them in the darkness, in a cellar way down deep, or inject them with a needle till they're permanently asleep. Could they put them in the garden under patio or plants, or pack them off to Java with all the other maiden aunts? Should they push them off a cliff top, let them float on out to sea, or maybe dress them as a wombat or a humble bumblebee? Or simply send them in a shuttle, make them set a home on Mars, dig themselves a safety bunker using only training bras? There are many places now, see, where exes can be made to go. Just beware of bitter endings from some bunny boiler beau. So you broke up, why not make up? It's such a naughty thing to do. Or failing that, do just force them through a blender, or simply flush them down the loo. This one's called Putting Life on Hold. Getting away, putting life on hold. There's nothing you can't do without for a couple of weeks. If you take a break, you can pretend that they never argued, never lashed out, never did anything that you regretted, or at least, if they did, then those things will keep. It's a good time to go away, to leave your problems behind, when there's nothing left, partly to disguise stuff, or as a pause in events, or as an interval in the proceedings. It works to keep up the pretense that all is normal. If you take a trip, book a holiday, then you never hurt anyone, never killed nor buried that loved one, or at least if you did, it can wait just that while longer. It will keep, for now. I never buried an ex, I promise. This one's called Red Tape. Red tape, please don't despair. In triplicate, no time to spare. Forms filled out, then interest wane. Read by none, please type again. Email your facts back to Brazil. Contact the dead, you know the drill. Poor dictation, it's protocol. Life in shorthand takes its toll. Red tape, work piled high. Loads to do now, don't be shy. Tick box into an early grave. Toe the line, don't misbehave. With paperwork that towers tall, would kill someone now should it fall. Yes, swaying gaily it teeters close. Squashed office worker, pretty gross. Red tape, no common sense. Complete loss of reason could cause offence. Born to achieve, please lead the way. Do what I do, not as I say. Hot desk fiasco, tied in string. Romantic fiction, her latest fling. Proactive striving, love your work. You're now the boss, a first-class jerk. This one's called Somewhere in Between. I'm neither short nor tall enough, not hard yet neither camp. Seems life's gone kind of lukewarm, neither hot nor wet, just damp. For my shame I'm just not mad enough, no neither harridan nor prude. You could say I've got the balance, not too polite yet neither rude. I'm caught somewhere in the middle, I'm somewhere in between. No, neither am I butch enough, yet never bitch enough for queen. I like to either be the hobo or a style freak who is hip. I like to say things that are witty, but I just wasn't born to quip. I like to be the one they hate so, or be the sort that folk admire, but I just don't seem to register. I do not bore, yet don't inspire. Well, I'm not a natural leader. I'd rather simply wait and see. In a crisis I'm oblivious, though you'll never see me flee. I'm caught somewhere on the edges, or lost someplace down the cracks. I'm just the kind comes to a penny, neither overstressed nor lax. Sure, I'm pretty even-tempered, now I'll not often tear my hair, though I won't sit there and take it if you decide to not play fair. I have imagination and I use it, but with my feet flat on the ground. I don't live up with the cuckoos where my peers can all be found. I'm quite surely indecisive, I'm neither generous nor mean. I'm not the best, I could be bettered, I'm just caught somewhere in between. I'm neither bright nor dull enough, not super fast, yet never slow, neither millionaire nor pauper, although I'd love a tad more dough. My views are just not fully formed enough. I'm unambitious, lazy, yes. I will never win awards this way, nor am I bothered, I'll confess. I'm just not ever going to thrill you. I'm not the most dynamic bod you've ever seen. I'm neither one nor am I t'other, no, just simply floating somewhere in between. This one's called Those Dreams Again. He comes to a stop, spinning beneath the covers, entombed in sleep, only to find he's in those dreams again. He's had them before, but this time more vividly, somehow more real. He's flying. The sun is high, the day warm, as he skips off through the flowers, beating beautiful wings, bright-coloured and dainty. He looks down at where once he lived, and he smiles. Part of nature, more so than ever now. It is the beginning of the end, perhaps, but what a glorious ending. A brief, triumphant peak, with a sudden fall that simply won't even matter when it comes. He's flying. He's flying, fluttering from leaf to petal, and on. He's doing it in those dreams again. But this time, somehow, the experiences are more attainable, are real. For every caterpillar dreams, butterfly dreams, and one day they will come true. Valentine's soldiers. It's when you reach the railway station that you notice them most of all. There's an army of them, some women but mostly men, armed with bouquets. Roses, lilies, carnations, all variety of bloom. Those that carry them head en masse to the underground, off home to fight the valiant fight with chocolate box shields and a romantic movie. Maybe a takeaway. I fear for them in their battle. Flowers only work if the moment is right. If the blow falls hard, then nothing will save them. Not the 6-foot card with a bunny carrying a heart on it, not the cute teddy bear wearing a Panama hat. How many will be left, sprawling amongst petals on the kitchen floor, covered in spicy curry and lager, shaking in a corner, vowing never to forget the golden rule, never buy them jewellery unless they've chosen it themselves? How many will be left like this, scarred by love? It is only in the morning do we truly see how well some have survived, the true extent of a battle plan well chosen. When we see young love cuddling on buses, couples with bright eyes and a trip in their step. It's not hard to tell them apart from those who never ventured out to fight, or have nobody worth fighting for. There's no problem gaining a seat on the tube on mornings such as these. Just look at the empty spaces. There are so many spaces left by those Valentine soldiers who did not return.
Poetiquette. He knows the moves, he moves with style. Admire escape in single file. A large medallion on his chest, slave to the beat, he rides the crest. How can this yeti strut so cool? Yes, disco room is his tool. Disco yeti, shining star. He's not size zero, no under par. He's not the sort with whom you mess. A dancing queen, well, more or less. Music plays to a pulsing beat. No godless beast, get disco feet. Heart so agile, clicks his claws. Would wade to distant shores. The dance floor clears, the spotlight shine onto this dancing yeti, oh so fine. Disco yeti, shining star. He's not size zero, no under par. He's not the sort with whom you mess. A dancing queen, well, more or less. This mighty beast, he is no himbo, with wiles the loft and flares akimbo. They're under lights, so bright and flashy. Backflips and music, kinda trashy. But who's to say his life is petty? This guy's the world's so disco yeti. Disco yeti, shining star. He's not size zero, no under par. He's not the sort with whom you mess. A dancing queen, well, more or less.
Two or three more, and then I'm afraid we're out of time. Although I might sneak in a couple at the end. This one's called Won't Stay Sweet Forever. She won't stay sweet forever. No, she'll not stay sweet for long. You might wish it were the case, but just you see, I'll not be wrong. Ickle babies in their bonnets soon shoot up, become a pest. Gaga gurgling 1 minute, soon grow older, yep, you guessed. Sooner toddlers outgrow nappies, temper tantrums on the pot. No longer cute, so pretty, what's left to offer? Not a lot. Omen children, nearing teenage, greasy hair and spouting pus. No, they won't be sweet forever, soon they'll grow up into us. Oh, they won't be sweet forever, life can just stay in the past. They may look fine at the minute, but it's a state that cannot last. Baby bunnies in their hutches, tiny puppies really new, soon grow up to be a nuisance that would be better in a stew. What once was purring now is hissing, bunny fur all up on end. Once they were delightful creatures, but soon you're having to pretend that you like those squeaky gerbils or those nasty scratchy cats, because they don't stay cute forever, just like babes, they soon are brats. No, he won't stay sweet forever. There's no way that this can be. You may think things couldn't change, but I tell you, soon you're gonna see handsome boyfriends, once so precious, girls to whom you made a pledge, they will soon be gone forgotten, pushed away and off the edge. Lovers once so close caressing soon will catfight like the rest. Those who once wore naughty knickers soon will don a thermal vest. Another heart is torn asunder, which must simply just be wrong. But you can't stay sweet forever. Forever soon becomes so long. This is called A Yeti's Fur. A Yeti's fur will fall out if he's feeling underused. He will make a dreadful sniffle if he's feeling he's abused. You'll get a baldy Yeti, so best pretend you give a toss. He will snort and stamp a little, for he likes to show who's boss. A Yeti's eyes will deaden if his birthday is forgot. Just ensure it's on your calendar or his temper may grow hot. If you haven't bought him presents that are wrapped so bright and gay, then best you make a hurried exit, 'cause things will not be okay. A Yeti's claws will soon be blunted should he have nothing left to scrape. He needs his paws for catching dinner, so they can't get out of shape. Of course he'll wear a pair of gloves for when he's meeting with the Queen, because he wouldn't want to hurt her nor cut her up, for that is mean. A Yeti's tongue may gurgle if he's not often fed with cake. If you haven't bought him jelly or a thick milk chocolate shake. If you haven't cooked him French fries or gravy made from Swedish foal. If you serve him up koala, then he'll gobble it down whole. The Yeti's growl will weaken if he's not allowed to grow. The ones out there upon the hills practice projection, don't you know? But a proper city Yeti does not always get that chance. He must attend a special workshop so that his growl will soon enhance. The Yeti's face will sadden if you do not give a fig. He will shrivel up real small, where once was usually so big. He'll lose his fur, his feet will ache, so weak in claw and meek of growl. Please never treat a Yeti badly, or he may throw in the furry towel. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to some of those poems. I haven't read some of those for quite a while. But, there were a number of those that I used to perform and that sort of went into some of my compilation books of my favourite pieces. Anyway, thank you for listening. Plenty of episodes in the can. Join us again soon. You take care. All right, bye for now. There's more poems coming up, though, so don't go. All right? All right. Bye for now. This one's called When the Mighty Fall. Seeing you now, I can hardly believe that you're the same person. That leather-clad behemoth, that same rock god crooner, who my father kept a signed photograph of upon our mantelpiece. The decades have passed, and now you are waiting to die, a long drawn-out death, and I am the one who may dispense it. You lie here, aged and suffering, at the end of your days. Not so great now. Rock-star privileges could only buy you a more comfortable bed and perhaps the best nurses. But there are far too many relatives who want your fortune for anyone to allow you to die easily or peacefully. Should I smother you now, allow you to overdose, set you free from this cruel life and make it quick? That way your biographers can finally lay down their pens, draw a line under a legend. I could help you slip away into rock history, up there with the greats. It's what my father would have wanted. But then I never much liked either of you, to be honest. Your music was forced on me, played daily for 18 years or more, until I knew every damn line of every damn song that you'd ever sung. So no, sorry, I have a career to consider. Growing up, we were never shown any mercy. You'll have to go when you're ready, old rock star. But tonight I may listen to those records one last time, wallow in the nostalgia, the sheer torment of being my father's child. Perhaps we'll see how I feel in the morning. Just don't hold out for any good news or a change of heart. Oh, I didn't know what that one was about. I've forgotten that one. Yes. Beware the way you treat your children, if they may one day have the right to decide your future. Particularly if you're a rock star with lots of money. I don't know. I don't know if that's the moral of the story. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is called Wanna Be a Bear. I want to be a bear, but I just haven't got the paws. I'm trying to grow my fur out, but it's nothing like as good as yours. I'm trying to grow my whiskers, but they're looking kind of meek. My stylish coat seems kind of mangy, whilst yours is looking really sleek. Oh, I want to be a bear, giving out a sexy growl. Want all the other bears to like me, snapped in nothing but a towel. I'm trying hard to grow my belly, but it's staying really small. I need a tummy like a barrel and less like a ping-pong ball. Yes, I want to be a bear in a cave upon a hill. I presume it's quite hygienic. I wouldn't like to get all ill. Make a nest there, nice to live in, just a stone's throw from the pub. Gonna live there with my fella, maybe a bear or yay, a cub. Please, I just want to be a bear. Yes, I've learned to beary dance. I practice on street corners, but do not get a second glance. I'm practicing my bear roar, but it sounds more like a yelp. I'm still feeling kind of timid. I think I really need some help. Yippee, I found myself a bear. Perhaps he'll teach me all the ropes. If I do just what he says, then maybe, well, I really must not raise my hopes. Oh yes, my bear is very loving. Dinner time, he gives me thirds. But he tells me not to worry. He is full of good, wise words. I love you, cub, no matter what, however furry you become, however much you growl about, however big you grow your tum. By all means, embrace your inner bear, be whichever way you want to be. The only thing you simply must embrace is your outer bear. And cub, that bear is me.
I gotta go now! Bye!
I want to go with you!
Gotta go! Bye!
Goodbye!
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Yeah, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Wow. Really? No kidding.
Thank you, darling. And you too. Bye-bye.
You can always call me.
That was beautifully done.
Oh, that sounded good.
This show is part of the Pride 48 network. Find more shows over at pride48.com.
Oh dear. What's going on now? Oh, it's the Shy Life podcast.
Let's go.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
You have a voice.
You have a voice. We have a voice.
We have a voice.
Unique voices in podcasting.
UnivazPods.net.
That is so cringe, oh my god.
You're a man of culture as well.
You don't exist. You don't exist, no longer there. The things you did, still hard to bear. The thought of you, best out of mind. The sight of you, oh, make me blind. You were the one whom once I kissed. But as for now, you don't exist. You don't exist, you didn't stay. How glad I was you went away. So glad you're gone, can breathe at last. How pleased I was your time has passed. No longer mine, struck off my list. For all I care, you don't exist. You don't exist, you never did. Yet still I ran, most surely hid. My anger now one day will fade. The worst mistake I ever made. You felt my words just like a fist. I hope they hurt. You don't exist. You don't exist. Where did you go? But do I really want to know? You might go out, it just depends. Alas, they're gone, your so-called friends. I loved you once, but here's the twist. The one I loved ceased to exist. One more, just one more. Troublemaker. Oh, how I wish I were a troublemaker. Making trouble is a blast. Yet a life of merely trouble brings a thrill that doesn't last. Could I be a party pooper, though it seems a trifle mean to poop at someone's party? It's not just rude, but quite unclean. Yes, I wish I were a hooligan, daub graffiti on the wall, or make sneak thievery my business, for I have no wish to brawl. Picking pockets is an art, maybe I'd soon get the knack, then accumulate a fortune to get me on a higher track. How I wish I were a cat burglar. Burgling cats is just my style, though if you ever catch a kitten you will need fantastic guile. Out there in my wicked element, being criminal, such fun, keeping dull policemen busy whilst I'm out there on the run. I wish I were a mastermind, a villain without any flaw, a man that all folk feared, perhaps a total fiend who's held in awe. For my secret Soho hideout, killing rivals in my sleep, push them off the pier in concrete, then watch them plunge into the deep. I wish I were a serial killer, killing serials for a laugh, out there murdering for pleasure, and you just can't get the staff. Slaughtering innocents at random. Are you psycho enough to try? I'm not convinced that I could do it. I'm more a pipe and slippers guy. Oh, how I wish I were a troublemaker, but I have just not got the guts. No, 'cause the hours are appalling, and too much violence drives me nuts. Yes, it's my fate to stay an angel. That's just the way it's gotta be. I'm not cut out to be a killer. 2 lumps of poison in your tea?
This is just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Well, gotta tell you, I didn't expect that.
What the hell just happened on this show? I mean, seriously, reverse it, because I lost. What's going on? What happened?
Man, was that worth it or not? Oh my goodness, that was a darling little shoe. Whoa, I love that one. Great show, Paul. Yeah, that was a good shoe.
I'm gonna have some orange squash now. It's an exciting one.
Oi, oi, back to your lot.
Oh, everyone's a critic.
so funny. Oh my God, yes. Why didn't I think of that? Oh my God, you're so cool. You're like the coolest
Can't you see that nobody likes you but me? Everyone else ditch you out on your tree. You in a real look. When I first met you, I should still run. Nobody likes you but me. I told her nobody likes you but me. Everyone I would think does agree. You've got issues I find always lagging behind. But no one cares.
Should I turn off the recording?
Okay, stopping recording now.
Very cool.